Hello, my name is Mark Taylor. I'm the host and creator of the Education on Fire podcast network and Primary Music on Fire membership site, where we are supporting primary teachers to deliver and experiment and have fun with music in their schools. One of the questions that we get asked quite a lot is, how do I play the instruments of my percussion trolley? And I've been playing percussion and drums professionally for about 25 years, but I've also for about the same amount of time been teaching drums and percussion in schools, especially primary schools, and going around doing samba workshops and having a chance to do a lot of these things. So I thought I'm in the perfect position to be able to share those things with us. And we've had a couple of these videos already. I've did a cymbal one where we really talked about experimentation with sounds and beaters, and also a tambourine one, which is great. So do go and check those out as well if you get the opportunity. Today we're going to be looking at the triangle. And the triangle is one of those things where it's relatively straightforward in as much as you have a beater and you have a triangle and you're going to hit it, and it sounds like a triangle is going to be. But a bit like the other instruments that we talked about, there is a little bit more to it in that, in as much as what are you going to hit it with? Generally speaking, you have a metal beater and the triangle's metal. But if you have a different size beater, you get a slightly different sound than if you have a thinner one. Not just volume, but also the texture kind of sound as well. The other thing which is interesting is where are you going to hit it? If you hit it there, it sounds different than if you hit it here, for example. Generally speaking, to get a really nice pure sound, just this top corner gives you a really nice sound like that. You get many more overtones if you're experimenting with hitting it down at the side. The other thing is actually, a lot of time, of course, are you going to have a piece of string on it? Hopefully you can, because then that enables the triangle to vibrate. But if you hold it with a long piece of string, as you can see, it starts to move around. It's very hard to have any control over what you're doing. So I suggest holding it very close to the triangle itself. If I do that, I've got much more control of how it's going to be. And then whatever sound I want to make, I've got control of exactly how the triangle is and where it's going to be. And especially if I want to make some sort of fast kind of trilly kind of sounds, the triangle's not going to go anywhere. It's just literally there, whether you're doing that one, or all three parts of it. You can make it up depending on exactly what it is that you want to do. But I've got control, I'm in control, I'm playing the instrument rather than the instrument playing me. It's probably a really important kind of way to think about these things. Of course, if you're going to hold it, then one hand's holding it, one hand is going to have the beater. So you can still do that and experiment with the type of sound that you want, from whether it's ringing or whether it's going to be a dead sound. Because if you wrap your fingers around it, you get a very dead sound. If you let it go, you have a very ringy sound. But what's really nice sometimes is to be able to combine the two things so that you get a nice rhythmic sound going on with a combination of both. Now, the skill that you need to be able to do that can be quite tricky, because you're holding it, you've got one hand going at a steady tempo, you've got your other hand opening and closing to get that tight and ringing sound going on. So it's quite a good thing just to be able to experiment with. Just pick one particular note that you want to be able to do. And that is quite a good way then to start thinking about pulse and tempo, even just on a triangle, as well as when we're doing drums and sort of rhythm games as well. Now, of course, that's fine if you're happy to hold it and you're happy to play it with the other beater. But the other thing you can do, if you've got a bulldog clip and somewhere to stand it, what I've done now is I'm going to peer through the stand there, I think that works okay. I've now got both my hands free. So now I can do the same sorts of things, but I've got two beaters I can do. Play some slightly more complex rhythms maybe. Or my kind of trilly sound, rather than having to do it with one stick in a corner there, I can actually do it with two sticks. Just changes the sorts of things I can do. They're much easier also if I want to do those sort of rhythmic patterns as well, because the actual triangle's being supported by something else rather than me having to hold it. One of the things which is important, not just for the triangle, but lots of things that we play, is that often you're going to be working with somebody, whether it's in your group, whether there's a conductor or someone directing what's going on. Actually, having the eye line of where you want to look and what you're playing is really important. So here I can play, but I can also see you at the same time out of the corner of my eye. So we've got control. So if you're doing a composition or you're directing something, the musician can also get to do that as well. And that's the same whether you've got your stand or whether you're actually just holding it as well. Often people they sort of play down here and then you've got no control over what you're trying to do. Here, if I hold it up, you can see I'm actually able to look at you and play and see what's going on, control the instrument and get exactly what I want out of it. So that's the triangle. Experiment, of course, you can also change the metal stick for a wooden stick, just changes the slight feel of these things, which is great when you're doing composition and things. So don't be too sort of bogged down in it has to look or sound like this. If you're doing especially compositional kind of things, it's great to have that experimentation because we already know now this is the type of sound it is depending on what I'm doing with it. So it's an easy step then to think, oh, but if it's a wooden one or if it's a plastic one, it's going to make a slightly different sound too. So thanks very much for watching. Do check out, as I said, the tambourine and the cymbal one that we also have available. If you want some free rhythm games, you can go to educationonfile.com/primary-music. And if you want to jump into the membership where we've got support of all these videos, but we've also got samba, we've got recorder workshops, we've got ocarina workshops, we have a private Facebook group where we can answer questions and really support you in all the things that we're doing, as well as singing and some djembe, well, all sorts of things that's in there. To find out about that and to jump in, it's only $4.99 for a month or $24.99 for an entire year. That's at educationonfile.com/membership. educationonfile.com/membership. Thanks so much for watching, and we look forward to our next experimentation on our primary percussion instruments.